So Aburu Aboye Aboshishe Alori Awo Ianifa Ilia Dingbe Ilia Du Mighty Iadu Temple Eku Oshe Oya Shango. This Oshe Ifa cast was Ogbe Alara, and we were asked to well, a couple of things, right? Ifani Irenio Iriaje Irioma Ire Shegun Iriaiku. So we understand, right, certain things, right, that if I ask us to do, right, is to one, right, kind of like fulfill our obligations and honor our obligations. So that is because we need to know when the blessing is coming. So if I ask us with this Odu Ifa to make sure that we doing O'Shea, those who are not initiated, you know, it is the agreement that one has made with one's destiny that one needs to fulfill. Right. So we discuss it a lot of times about Okunle, and we discuss it a lot about Okunle Ba. We discuss it about Ayamo. We discuss it about coming from heaven to earth and putting the pieces back together, pieces of ourselves. So we can remember, right, from Ogbe Yonu with Afawape and Orile Mere and Orile Seku, right? Contention and strife. Those things will precede us when coming from heaven to earth. But those things have incomplete destinies, right? So it was Afawape who went through his trials and tribulations, right? He traveled through Agbalagba, right? He traveled through the realm of the Iyami. He traveled through the realm of ancestors, right? He went to Ajala Moonpin's house, and he, based on his character, he helped out Ajala Moonpin like clear a debt. So he was able to pick a more complete destiny. So when we think about that, right, and we try to kind of like understand what it's talking about. So in order to receive clarity about one's destiny, if I ask us to initiate, right, this is the obligation that Ifa is asking us to fulfill with Ogbe Alara. So, you're like, Baba, every Odu Ifa speak about initiation. Of course it does, right? Because this is the way that we can know for sure what our path is, what life lessons we have to learn, what cycles we can change and win, right? Because we felt it, right? Sometimes we go through the same thing. We're like, oh, this is the same thing. It just looked like it's a different person. But it's the same thing. It's a different location. To bring clarity to these things, right? And make way for blessing, Ogbe Alara asks us to know our destiny. Not only does it ask us to know our destiny, but it asks us to continue to check with our destiny, right? Doing O'Shea, doing Ita Dogun, doing these things, right? So that we know when the blessing is coming. So it's particular, right? Because it's not necessarily like we like to know when the blessing coming, when I'm gonna have spouse, when I'm gonna have children, when I'm gonna have abundance, when I'm gonna have owo. I need victory. I need elevation. I need success. I need all these things, right? But how will we facilitate the change? What things will we add to our destiny, right? That's what O'Shea is. It's Odu Ifa doesn't say, hey, let us initiate Ifa, right, because of challenges. It doesn't say that. Let us initiate Ifa because of blessing, right? So it was the absence of blessing and the presence of challenges, which should bring us to Ifa anyway, right? It does. Sometimes we going through something, right? I'm saying I've you know, even with this old dude, it says that we going through something. There's some challenge, there's some opposition, right? We talked about it the other day about those Irumale or Risha on the right hand side and those on the left hand side, those who bring E-ray and those bring those destructive or negative forces. Is it saying that with Itefa or doing Oshe that you will avoid those altogether? No, but it says that you can minimalize, that you'll know how you'll be better equipped with the information. That's one thing about E5, right? Is that E5 is going to tell you, hey, this is happening, right? So when it tells you this thing is happening, you can expect this change. You can expect this situation. You can expect this incident that is somehow avoidable. Some of those things are necessary to build one's character. This Ifa says that what we're looking for, we will have. So what is it that you're looking for, Ifa Banke? Ifa Fumike? What is it that you're looking for? Go ahead, Ifa Banke.
Um, what am I looking for? Um,
In
long life,
life, just in
success,
general.
elevation.
Ashe,
Uh, you know, the wisdom to to manifest instead of just getting caught in obstacles. You know, just to be guided correctly.
Ashe. Ifa Tucson, what you looking for in this life?
Boy, right, Baba.
Ashe. Ifa Fumike, what you looking for in this life?
The fulfillment of destiny.
Ashe. Ifa Iayo.
Aburiboy Boshishe Baba. Sorry I was
Guato.
late.
It's okay.
Um, I'm looking for Ire of every part of my life.
Ashe. Ire Pupo, Ire Bopo. You know, uh, if a Lowell can't answer. David, what you looking for, David? Oh, if a Lowell can't answer. Uh, if a Lowell, what you looking for?
I wasn't looking for it, but what I found was alignment and purpose.
Ashe. That's a good one. Omo EI, what you looking for? You're like, Baba, why you call on me?
Aboye, Abosha Baba.
Oh,
Um,
Guato.
I'm looking for destiny and just doing my duties as a woman and as, a birth giver, I guess.
Ashe. So when we talk about E5, right, we're gonna substitute destiny, right? You can put you can put whatever words you want in its place for E5, right? So it says blessings are coming. That we need to stay close to E5, right? So stay close to what? Stay close to spouse, stay close to children, stay close to peace of mind, right? Stay close to family, stay close to our Egbe, stay close to Owo, IJ, right? Success and elevation, all that. So E5 is gonna help us to do that. So this E5 says that we must be strong in character, that we need to fulfill our obligations with ourselves. Ifani Ogbe Alara,
Ogbe
Um,
Alara.
Baylor,
sparkling white teeth
sparkling white
Sparkling white teeth
are the ornaments of a smile,
are the
are the
ornaments of a
ornaments of a
smile
smile.
and good character
and
and
good
And good
character
character
is the ornament of a man.
is the
is the
is the
ornament
ornament
of a
of a
man.
man.
If a man is good looking
for
If
man
a
If a
man is
man is
good
good
looking,
looking,
but doesn't have good character,
who doesn't
but
have
but
doesn't
doesn't
have
have
good
good
character,
character,
such a person
such a
such a
such a
person
person
ought to be compared with
is
ought to
not to
be
be
compared with
compared with
a tree in the forest.
the
tree.
a
tree
tree
in
in
the
the forest.
forest.
These were Ephi's declaration
These were
These
These
were
were
Ephraim's
Esau's
declaration
declaration
to Gunigun the vulture,
the Goonie
to
Goo.
Gunigun the vulture,
the vulture,
and also the other birds of the forest.
and
No,
and
also
also
the
the
other
other birds
birds
of
of
the
the
forest.
forest.
They are advised to offer a bow.
they were
They
advised.
were
They were
advised to
advised to
offer a
offer a
bow.
bow.
Only Gunigun complied.
Only
Only
Gunigun
Gunigun
complied.
complied.
Travelers to Epo and O5,
Travelers to eat.
Travelers to
Travelers to
Epo
Epo
and
and
the
Ophir.
Opha.
come and see how
Come and
Let's
see
see
Come and see
how
how
compliance with advice
lines with
compliance with advice
to offer a bow supports one.
to offer a
to
bow.
offer a bow supports one.
Non-compliance
Non
non-compliant
Non-compliant
is not supportive.
is
is
not.
is
not
not
supportive.
supported.
Now,
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 Gunigun never lied.
Goonie
Gunigun
Gunigun
never
never lied.
lied.
Egun never broke the oath.
Egun
Goo.
Egun
never
never
broke
broke
the
the
oath.
oath.
Do not let us break the oath
Do not
Not
Do
let
not
us
let
break
us
the
break the oath
that we have made
that we have
that
made
we
that
have
we have
made
made
to ourselves
to
to our
to
ourselves
ourselves
or to anyone.
or
or
to
to
anyone.
anyone.
Ashe.
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 So truly keeping your obligations with yourself, right? And the Odu Ifa lays it out. So for those that aren't familiar with the story of the vulture, it is the birds of the forest were having a problem, right? So who can tell me what the birds signify? What's one thing that the birds can signify? Ifatusin?
Yami?
Fanny. Anybody else? Not you, Ifatusin. Anyone else? Greece. Oh, Naze. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Greece don't want to
Sorry,
answer.
Baba. What
Oh,
was the
there you go.
question?
Huh?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
What do the birds in this verse symbolize or signify? What's one meaning that the birds can signify?
Uh,
People. People.
people.
Benny. Ashe. So the birds can symbolize several things, right? EME as well, right? So this is a verse that gives everyone that practices Ifa a taboo. The taboo is against the vulture, right? That we should not kill or use the vulture. So this is a general taboo for anybody in Isheshe. Why? Because the oath that the vulture kept. So there's a lot of Odu Ifa that kind of like we can take that sentiment and apply it to. Tua Rico is one, right? Edgy Ogbe is another. There's a lot of verses dealing with oaths and keeping one's oaths. We talked about Ogbe Yonu, right? There's plenty. There's plenty. So what happens is that um the birds of the forest were having challenges. So they cast Ifa, but they needed someone to take the Ebo to Orun, from Aye to Orun. So remember, right? We see it with Oshe Tura, right? The broken calabash next to the Eshu shrine used to carry a bow. Ifa's declaration, the slender Oshe Tura one carrying Ebo from earth to heaven, right? It's talking about this thing. So it is things are done based on the oaths, right? So we expect the Ebo to the prescription, we expect the completion, right? All these things. Atura Pontete, right? When Oluwo paid the 3 calories and SU went into action, even though the Ebo hadn't been made, it was these are places where we can see where the oaths are important. When you send the Babalao or the Ianifa your money, right? You expect them to comply with the oath. You expect the change or outcome, right? A favorable outcome to your situation. So this was the same thing that affected the birds of the forest, right? That they had an issue, they offered a bow, and so they went through the different birds to see who would take the ebo from earth to heaven. It finally rested on the vulture. It said, the vulture's not a pretty bird, but he big, right? And some of those Lukumi houses, they say this is the Odu that changed the vulture from the peacock to the vulture. It's not the case. The vulture has always been the vulture. So where they felt like because of the size or the way that the vulture looked, right? It was bald headed, and it was kind of opportunistic in a sense, right? Because the vulture is a raptor, but it doesn't kill any other bird or anything. They decide on the vulture, the ebo is made, and so the vulture takes off. And so they say, okay, well, in 3 days' time, we should see the effects of our ebo. Six months went by. 9 months went by. A year went by. 2 years went by. Some time went by, and during this time, the other birds of the forest are harassing the vulture's family. They're talking junk about the vulture. Oh, he fell asleep. Oh, he ate the ebo. Oh, he's not coming back. He's a coward. Blah, blah, blah. Right? The meantime, the vulture is trekking on because the vulture gave its word, right? It is an oath, took an oath to take the ebo from earth to heaven. So we can look at the verse and we can see, right? Because this Ifa is telling us, right? Keep the agreements that we have with ourselves. Destiny. How will you know the agreement, right? The mission that you came to accomplish without having destiny. This is why it's important for Ifa initiation. So when you're in your purpose, when you're changing your character, when you're receiving the information, when you're doing all these things, right? According to your divine purpose, your alignment, it one brings clarity and understanding, right? With that, is there's recognition first. So as the vulture is taking the ebo to a room, He's going through all these things in his mind, right? Because it's taking longer to get to a room than anticipated. Sometimes it can take time for us to make it to Itefa. Sometimes, right? Because that's the grove, right? We it's like we back in Orun. It takes time for that process. It takes time doing that process. It takes time for fulfillment of those things. This Odu Ifa asks us to let keep our agreements with ourselves and with our destiny, with our divine purpose. I don't know of any other religion or spiritual practice that aligns us with destiny. As the vulture is flying, the vulture did not give up. So first, he had to honor the agreement that he made with himself, right? And in turn, that automatically helped him honor the agreements that he had with others. He's alone with the Ebo. No one will see him stop, right? This is integrity, discipline, honor, respect, truthfulness. So the vulture gets to Orun, right? Take about 3 years and some change. The vulture gets to Orun. He gets to the gates. He's like, I got something for Olodumare. After some discussion, they let the vulture through. The vulture, Olodumare is looking at the vulture. He's like, Dad, what, pretty much like, look, my boy, what happened to you? It's like, Olodumare, man, I'm trying to bring you this Ebo from the birds in the forest. It took some time for me to get here, but I'm here. Olodumare looks at the vulture and looks at the condition of the vulture and has pity on the vulture. Accepts the Ebo. But based on the character of the vulture, Olodumare said, hey, I'm gonna let you slip out the back. It's gonna be a shortcut back to where you came from. And the vulture accepts. Almost in an instant, he's back, where he came from in the bird kingdom. When he gets back, he sees the situation of the birds and how the other birds had ridiculed and mocked him and his family members. Eshu, upon seeing this, right? We talked about this the other day too. Eshu, seeing this, declares that no other bird, or Olodumare does, declares that no one will kill the vulture. So when it comes to Ebo, when it comes to Etutu, when it comes to offerings, right, it is the vulture that is exempt. This Odu Ifa asks us to keep our agreements with ourselves, and in turn, we keep those agreements with others. Having one's destiny, right? Doing Ose, right? Being able to see when the blessings are coming, being able to be prepared for the blessings when they arrive is what this Ifa asks us to do. This Ifa also asks us to be happy with what Olodumare has given us. You know, we've all been there. We've all been, in a sense, at some point or another, disgruntled about something. It's not the way that I thought it was going to be. It's a little more difficult. It's a little more challenging. It's not as sweet in the beginning. If I ask us to keep at it, our Ori ask us to keep at it. See, if I ask us to continue to be honest. So In one way, what was the reason that kept the vulture going? Even if it wasn't for all the other birds, what was it that kept the vulture going? Who did the vulture return to? Who did the other birds of the forest ridicule? His family. It's if I ask us to remember our family, right? Remember why we do it, right? It's for us, right? But we're also changing something in our lineage. We changing something in our family. If not for us, they might not even know about Ifa. Think about it. This Ifa wishes us the blessing of everything. Please give Obi Oti and Oyenti your Ifa. Questions on Ogbe Ola. Ashe.